Mrs Pelosi here. I just wanted to do a little shared writing video for you, just to give you some tips on how a writer's brain might work. So if I talk you through how I came up with my ideas for my writing, it might help you come up with your ideas. So you should have done your plan based on this picture to write your recount of your witness statement. So you're in your bedroom window here, you're looking out of it, and you can see the tear thief dangling her legs from the lamppost there. And I want you to look at the setting and have a look at what it's like. So I can tell it's night time. So as I'm interpreting that picture, so as a reader, I'm being a reader now before I become a writer, I can see from the picture that it's dark because the cars have got their headlamps on and the lamppost is on, lighting up the street. I can tell that it must be winter time because there's a lady wearing a thick red coat. I can also see that it's raining because she's got her umbrella up and she's wearing boots. So already I'm getting an image in my head of what the weather might be like and some good words to describe it. So I'm thinking it's dank, it might be musty, it might smell musty, and you might smell wet, and it might be damp. And because I'm looking out of my window, I want to use my 5 senses to really show the reader when I'm writing what's going on and how the character might be feeling, or what I can see, or what's happening, because we don't just want to tell people what's happening, we want to show them by using our 5 senses, and you've already planned that out, so you need to use those in your writing now. So let me show you how I've used it. So if I go to my piece of writing, which is here, now remember a lot of this has got mistakes in because this is your grammar activity where you've got to correct my grammatical errors, tense errors, spelling errors, and I think I've used the wrong homophone somewhere. So I've given you a list. So I haven't amended this. So I've kept this as it is because this is what you're going to amend. So ignore the mistakes, they're there on purpose for you to improve. But let me show you how my writer's brain worked as I was writing my witness account. So I know it was evening, so that's what I want to open up with. So I want to tell the reader what time of day it was. So I decided to open up with it was a cold evening and people were rushing home to the warmth of their houses, because I thought, well, it's cold and it does look like people are rushing around. But then I thought, actually, cold, I've put my thesaurus brain on here. There's got to be a better word than cold. It's not really telling people what the weather is like. So I've changed, so I put my thesaurus brain on and I came up with, let's just move the box for you. I came up with dark and damp. And remember to use a comma when you're listing adjectives one after another. Dark and damp, that sounds much better than cold, because that gives people a much better image in their heads. So I'm using my senses. So I'm telling them it was dark, damp evening, and people were rushing home to the warmth of their houses. Got my thesaurus brain on again, rushing. I'm not sure that's the right word, because we know that the tear thief is a really dainty, delicate person. So everything about the book is quite delicate and enchanting. Rushing seems a little bit too strong. So instead of rushing, I changed it to hurrying, because that's not quite as strong. It just seems a little bit gentler if you hurry rather than rush. There's not as big a sense of urgency. So everyone was hurrying home to the warmth of their houses. So see how I've shown the reader what they're doing, where they're going. I haven't just said they were going home. I've said that they were rushing home to the warmth of their houses because it's cold, it's winter and it's raining. They want to get into their warm houses. I can see headlights in that picture. So I've said the headlights of passing cars were becoming less and less as night began to fall on my ordinary street. So I've told the reader what it's like, because light is falling. We can tell because the passing cars have got the headlamps on and the street lamp is on also. So I've used my senses there and told them what I can see. And I want to show the reader that something happens quickly, and I didn't want to use suddenly because I've used that before. So I've started with just then, so I've changed my opener to just then, And I want to tell them that I saw something out of the corner of my eye, because I want to tell the reader, I want to show them, sorry, what it is that I can see. So I'm not just telling them I've seen something, I'm showing them where I saw her from the corner of my eye. I caught a flash of white and spotted a smoky, transparent figure sitting on top of the tall lamppost opposite my bedroom window. So can you see how I wanted to tell the reader where, the exact spot where I saw her and where I was? And actually, because I didn't really believe what I was seeing, I thought, well, let me tell the reader that I blinked, because that shows the reader then that I don't actually quite believe what I've seen. So I blinked because I thought it might be my eyes playing tricks on me. But there she was, carrying a silvery sack and waiting patiently for something. So because we know she's a delicate creature who doesn't want to be caught, doesn't want to be seen, we must know that I thought patient would be a good word to describe her, or a good adverb. Patiently would be a good adverb to describe how she was waiting, because we know that she's got to be patient and delicate. She doesn't want to get caught out. And now I need to introduce what it is that I've seen. It was the tear thief herself. And I've used just then again, but I actually could change that to suddenly, so I'm not repeating myself. And I've got to get a simile in. So this is where I can tell my readers with a simile how she moved. So instead of using an adverb, I'm using a simile. Just then, quick as a blink, because we know that she moves very quickly so she doesn't get caught. I saw her jumping majestically onto the roof of Mr. and Mrs. Marshall's house. Now, I've got my thesaurus brain on again, children. Saw, that's not the best word, because she's delicate and she's little. So let's see which word I swapped it to. Spotted, because that shows that it was a gentle little spot, and it sounds much better than saw. It's a synonym, it's a much better word. So remember, synonyms are words that mean the same. So I've changed it to spotted. I spotted her jumping majestically, because I think she is majestic. She's very regal, onto the roof of Mr. and Mrs. Marshall's house. I could just see into the bedroom window, because remember, I'm using my 5 senses, so I'm telling the reader what I could see. I could just see into the bedroom window, and their little boy was crying. So, because I know from the story that his mum was stroking his arm, I've put that in to tell the reader what she was doing. His mum was stroking his arm gently. I heard her asking him what was wrong. He had lost his favourite toy. How sad he must have felt. I've used an exclamation sentence because we learnt that last week, so I'm showing that I'm using my previous learning. And actually, how sad. There's got to be a better synonym, a better word for sad. Let me think, my thesaurus brain. A child would be really devastated. That's a good word. So if we move this box here, you'll see that I'm used devastated, because that gives us a real clear picture of how sad the child really was. So how devastated he must have felt. Large. So look how I've opened up with adjectives. Large pear-shaped tears rolled down his cheeks. So I haven't just said he was crying. I'm showing the reader what's happening, where the tears are coming from, and I'm describing what they're like. Large pear-shaped tears rolled down his freckled cheeks slowly. So I've used an adverb to describe how the tears were moving, and they dangled. So they didn't just hang there, but dangled would tell the reader that they're delicately there. So that fits in the theme of the story, that everything's delicate. And dangled from his chin like delicate raindrops. Like a flash, there's my other simile, and this time I've opened up with a simile. I've opened up the sentence with like, so instead of having it in the middle of a sentence, I've put it at the start. Like a flash, the tear thief slid through the window. So I didn't just say she moved, I've used slid because that's a better word. Through the window soundlessly, so I've used an adverb to describe how she moved. And moved away unnoticed. See, I've got to have my thesaurus brain on again. I don't like the word moved, because that doesn't really tell us a great deal about how she moved. Slipped away. That suits the tear thief much better because she's so delicate and petite. She slipped away unnoticed, as silent as smoke. I couldn't believe what I had just witnessed. Was it a dream? Now, when we use an ellipses, that shows that one way of using an ellipses is to show a train of thought trailing off. So I'm showing a thought in my head. Was it a dream? I don't know. That's a thought in my head that's trailing off, so I finished with an ellipses. And you need to decide whether I should have finished with an exclamation mark or not, or is it another punctuation mark that should have gone there? That's up to you to decide. Can't wait to see and read your witness accounts. Bye.